So you binge at night. Well, I'm a victim of that too, and I'm gonna jump straight into the problem. So the problem is that we rely too heavily on willpower. And we can do that because willpower is not always present. So if you have a bad day at your job, if you had an argument with somebody, so if something happens that makes you stressed, angry, or whatever, you are more vulnerable to end up binging at night because when you are in those kind of states mentally, your willpower is weaker than it should. So that's why when you get home and you see a delicious meal right in front of you and you know that you should keep your diet, but now you start negotiating, oh, it's just gonna be just a little, and tomorrow I'll eat less or I'll work out more or whatever. If you are already debating between eating it or not, you already lost because your willpower is weaker at those moments, so you're not gonna be able to reject the idea, so you're gonna go and eat it. And once you eat a little bit, your dopamine is gonna kick in. You're gonna feel pleasure. So if you're sad and now you're feeling pleasure, why do you think you're gonna want to do? You're gonna want to eat more. So that's why you end up binging and overeating and eating more than you should. And then you feel miserable because you fail at your diet. But it's not your fault, bro. It's because how can you blame yourself when you weren't in a mental state that allows you to reject that? You wouldn't have been able. I'm not able to do so. So the thing is, do not rely on willpower. Don't put yourself in a place where you have to make the decision whether to eat it or not. So how can you do that? By designing your environment in a way where you are not in that situation. So if you know that that happens a lot when you get home, then don't have those kind of foods at home. Why do you have junk food, crackers, and I don't know, whatever that makes you binge? Why do you have that at your house? Why? It doesn't make any sense. You should not do that because today you might be able to reject it. Tomorrow, who knows? Who knows what happens if your boss goes crazy and yells at you or whatever? You don't know what can happen. So it's better to avoid it than to be there and then have to fight because you are gonna lose. And you know that because you have been in that situation many times before. I've been there. I admit it. I've been a victim of that. But that's how I overcame that problem. So I no longer have to make the decision whether to eat it or not because I don't have it at my house. I don't have it here at home. And that's what you need to do. Because here's the thing. So there's something that is called trigger, right? So we do things normally when we are triggered to do so. So if I'm hungry, I want to eat, okay, that's normal. But in these kind of cases, sometimes we end up binging, not because I was just hungry and I wanted to eat something. It's almost always because there was something in my environment that I saw and it triggered a certain craving in my head and now I want to eat it. But if I didn't see it, I wouldn't have done it. So that is the thing. So triggers. So if you have something in your environment that makes you crave, it's gonna trigger a response in your brain that will make you go and eat it because then your brain knows that you're gonna get pleasure from it. And if you're sad and you eat a little bit and that gives you pleasure and now you feel better, what do you think your brain will ask you to do? It will ask you to eat more because now you're not as sad anymore. You see, that is the cycle. So you see the thing, it triggers a response in your brain. Now you crave it. Now you go and do it. And once you do it, you feel pleasure. And since you are feeling pleasure now you want to do more. And there is something interesting about this. So here's the thing with dopamine pleasure and all of that. And is when you feel pleasure when you're doing something, when you stop doing it, or you are trying to do it, you feel pain on the other side of your head. So if you imagine like you have like a scale in your head, so when you feel pleasure, then the balance it tips to the other side and you feel pain too, and now you're feeling the pain of not eating it, so you are gonna eat it. And that's why sometimes when you are scrolling or eating, you can't find the strength to stop. It's because now you're not just feeling pleasure, you're also feeling pain, so you don't want to stop. So there's a lot of things that come into this. I don't want to get into a lot of details. I just want to tell you something actionable that you can do, and that's all you need to know for now. So, what you need to know is design your environment in a way where you don't have to be in that situation. And when you are emotionally stressed, sad, or whatever, those kind of negative emotions will make your willpower way weaker. Or when you make a lot of decisions, your willpower will be drained. So you're not gonna be able to stop yourself from binging. So design your environment in a way where you don't have to make the decision in the first place. Avoidance is way better than to rely on self-control. And that's all you need to do. Honestly, I swear to God, it doesn't sound as pleasant because I know that you want to have all those kind of things from time to time. You want to eat a little bit, but if that is stopping you from achieving what you want, I believe that you must be able, or you must be willing to pay the price. And the price is not having it at home. Throw those things away. Remove the triggers because your brain is gonna convince you to eat them if he sees them. So that's all I have to say for this video. I know this is gonna help you. Maybe even be a little bit boring and you were expecting something different, but it is how you finally overcome this problem. And I hope that you can make a good use of this information and you can finally achieve the transformation you're looking for. So that's pretty much it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.